Welcome to Joe's Astrology. This is the birth chart for Steve Jobs, and he's a Virgo rising, moon in Aries, and a sun in Pisces. Now, this chart by sign looks so much like mine, it's scary. And that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on the progressive nature of this guy, the intelligence of this guy, and just the way he thought and how it correlates to the natal chart here. So we see right off the bat, we see a Virgo rising and a sun in Pisces in the sixth house. Pisces was in the 12th. It looks like in this chart it's on the cusp of the 12th and the 11th, his Pluto. And we see here the sun in Pisces, so you could say, he's a dreamer, but he's a practical dreamer with the sun in the sixth. So it's like the combination of the 6th and the 12th, and then the Virgo rising, a practical dreamer, Pisces dreamer, a scientist. Scientists, real scientists can be considered Pisces. Einstein was a Pisces. You think of someone like Einstein, another practical dreamer. And the ruler of the chart, the ruler of the rising here is Mercury, and it's in the fifth, and it's exalted in Aquarius, where it's exalted, and it's retrograde. So there's emphasis on redoing something that has to do with the mind, something that has to do with science and technology, Aquarius. And it's in the fifth, the house of self-expression, the house of children. In this case, it's the children of his mind, his ideas. He was an idea man. Mercury in the fifth. And the moon is in Aries. And many people who have watched that movie, if that the movie with Ashton Kutcher portraying Steve Jobs as a person who was a go-getter, aggressive, angry at times. If that was true, if that's accurate, we see that with the moon in the seventh. But it has moon in the seventh in Aries, and it has to do with other people. So there are other people involved in this. Usually, this aggressive, assertive activity. It usually had to do with, we think of the seventh house as partnerships of pushing his business forward. It wasn't like just being angry for the sake of being angry or angry at the self, maybe moon in the first house. And Mars is in Aries at 29 degrees, making a trine to Pluto. And if you watch these readings, you see this Mars Pluto trine is very important for ambition and potential success in life. Having a mission, having a deep mission, a psychological mission, a very powerful mission. And it's in the eighth house as well, where there is a drive towards getting to the core of things. A very penetrating psychological drive from this man to accomplish something. And we see Jupiter and Uranus conjunct in the sign Cancer that Jupiter is exalted in, and it's in the 10th house. This is what he's known for. Is Gemini in the midheaven, but this Jupiter Uranus, the idea of being a visionary in technology and science and technology, Jupiter visionary, Uranus science and technology, a genius teacher, a progressive teacher, a unique teacher, someone who's misunderstood. And we see the Venus down here making a square to that Mars, and the Venus is in the fourth. So with all that assertive masculine energy, we have this Venus in Capricorn in the fourth. Someone at a deep level is a caretaker, a paternal figure for many people. Uh, and of course, many people would gravitate towards that because of the way because of that uh, dominant, assertive behavior. People, regardless of what it of if it's healthy or not, people gravitate to that. They often seek that father figure in their own life, and we see that down here with Venus in the fourth in Capricorn, and his south node's in the 10th as well. So he's got this 10th house energy, south node in Cancer in the 10th, and with the kind of reverse there with Cancer in the 10th, the south node, that moon being the ruler there in Aries in the 7th, everything I said is the same there for that south node in the 10th. He's like taking care of other people in his own uh, odd way. People around him could have tell they would be able to tell in person that he cared. You see that south node in Cancer, in the north node in the fourth. So there's definitely a need for this guy to uh, integrate how he's going to care for the world. And we see the moon is squaring the nodes. So very much a need for him to get in touch with his feelings and his emotions through his relationships and partnerships. You see the ruler of that north node in Capricorn is Saturn in Scorpio, and you could see it's in the third house. He would have done that through his work, through his communication in work, communication style. Uh, we see Saturn's in the Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer decan as well. It's also making a trine to that Uranus Jupiter in the 10th. This guy would have had to learn how to communicate better in order to convey his ideas to get people to help him with his work. And that was a challenge. I'm sure that was a challenge for him uh, because he would have or could have turned off a lot of people with his approach. See a person with all this Virgo as well, the attention to detail, the tendency to be way too narrow minded when it comes to the work and the people, not respecting the people around him, could definitely have been a challenge for him or was a challenge for him. But again, he had that Pisces and all this water here, the Grand Trine in water, that visionary capability, the dream, pushing the dream, making everything that he did kind of come back to the dream, like it wasn't him. It wasn't him. Uh, it wasn't about his personality. It was about don't listen to my don't listen to my approach or my style. It's not about that. It's not about my personality. It's about the dream. It's about making this happen, and let's get it done. So he would have, people would have bought into that, and I think I remember him conveying that to people, or at least trying to. But I can resonate with that too. Sometimes when I get hard on people, or just people think I'm being harsh. Um, I remind them this isn't about it's not about me. It's not about my approach, how I sound, what I'm. It's about what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish here, whatever that may be. Speaking of being a practical dreamer, he's got the Mars Neptune opposition here, and I have a Mars Neptune sextile. Back to that Mars Venus square. when it comes to his love life. And I did a video on this, the Mars Venus phases, and this is a waning 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 square. So he would have been a guy who would need independence in his life, in his relationships. He would need some room to breathe. He would need to be his own person. Obviously, with his work, you can tell that that's true. No relationship was going to get in the way of his work, and that's often you see that with a square between Mars and Venus, and many people will interpret that in their life as being, independent, so independent that they can't be in a relationship. And it's really not about that. It's about, everyone has their own life and their own mission. And oftentimes when you come into a relationship, you get overtaken by the combination of energies and the new energy field that it creates. And that's fine, that's necessary, that's inevitable. But with without recognizing that you are your own individual and you have your own individual life and no one can take that away from you, uh, that can be, without recognizing that square can be a real problem in finding relationships, keeping relationships, etc. So that is Steve Jobs' mini chart reading. I hope you enjoyed that and have a great day.